Hey everybody, today's a quick look at the Corsair X570 VIII Extreme. This board came out, I think, about a month ago. 800 bucks is the price point. Just gonna take a quick look at the board, give you my thoughts on it, compared to like the Dark and compared to other ASUS boards that are out for X570. Let's take a quick look at the box contents. In the box, you get your DAC, screwdriver. This is essentially what replaces the Aura terminal for ASUS, I believe. You get the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you get 6 addressable RGB headers, and you get 6 PWM fan headers, and you get the temperature control, etc. And on my video of my Glacial, I remember I couldn't find this adapter for this. Power adapter. Maybe I'll find it in this box, but it was in my Glacial box. You get your standard M2. This is the black one they've had for ages. Normally, I don't touch any of this stuff outside the M2 because I don't really care for any of it. What else do you get? You get an antenna. Okay, the antenna is different. It is a newer version that doesn't look like the shark fin anymore. It kind of pops out. It does this kind of swivel like that. Let's see what else you get. Okay, so this is an instruction booklet, I assume. Instruction booklet, normal papers, maybe some stickers. No, go fast stuff, right? Let's see what else. You get a ROG keychain, SATA cables. This is a USB. Okay, this is for that fan controller. There's that internal USB, the USB-C, which I really don't understand why they're still doing these kind of things. I mean, there's better ways to do that now. You get an DRGB extension 1 to 3. You get 2 SATA cables that are braided and some funny, this looks like a GPU bracket, support bracket, and drivers, etc. on here. But so far, I have not found the power cable for that Hydrocon or whatever controller. So I guess if it's not in here, then I guess it's just powered over USB-C. Okay, but there's that, just M2 screws, and that's all you get in the box. Now that we got the board out of the box, let's take a look at this board. Okay, right away, this aesthetic is very typical since Z590. You'll find this kind of look on the Z590 Hero, Extreme, etc. In fact, the OLED here is from La Formula, from what I can tell. But it's very close to the Z590 Extreme, even the power delivery. All right, it's pretty much identical. Okay, you will have most likely 2 M2s down here, 1 down here, so you get 3, and you get 2 more on the DIMM, so you get 5. Okay, so looking at the back I/O, you get 4 USBs. Oh, sorry. Not 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get 6 and then 8. So you get a good amount of USB. You get a 10 gig and a 2.5 gig, and 2 USB-Cs. So taking a look at the other side, you get 2 more addressable RGB headers over here, and you get the 1 down here, and you get the regular RGB over here. All of this is standard Extreme affair. Nothing really new here. Considering the last Extreme we had for AM4 was the X270, I believe, or X3. Actually, sorry, it should be X370, and that came in at 350. So this coming in at 800 is quite a jump. I think overall the PCB, obviously the VRM has been beefed up, and some of this stuff is less plastic, more cover, kind of deal like that. But I mean, this is kind of the new normal to an extent. I think the IABs has taken kind of like the shortages in, overall global supply chain shortages to kind of bring a new normal when it comes to motherboard pricing. And I'm not a big fan of that. I have been sponsored by ASUS before, but that's not a relationship that's continuing. Since that time, so I buy a lot of these things myself, and nobody wants to pay more than they have to, right? But with that said, would I pay 800 for this board? Yeah, because I'm that type of person. But if you are a kind of not a high-end enthusiast, you don't even look at it. Okay. But if you are that high-end enthusiast like me, there's some things you need to consider. The X570 Dark is also out recently. Along with this board, it's fair to say that it's very late to the game. Okay, this should have been out more than a year ago. Okay, this is like way too late. We do have a refresh coming up for X570 for the 5000 series chips, so that may extend life a little longer. But we have Alder Lake coming in 2 months. We have the Zen 4 refresh coming next year, spring, supposedly, assuming no delays. If you notice, the 5000 series Threadrippers are not out yet, so that leads me to believe that Zen 4 may also be delayed. Maybe not, but that won't be till next year. Other parts of the board, you get standard USB. This is very much the same as the Z590. You get 2 USB 3s, 2 USB Cs. It's a heavy board. Like I said, more than ridiculous power delivery. If you're looking at the X570 Dark and you don't know whether you should get the Dark or this board, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, get this board, because a very, very, very small percentage of users actually use LN2 or DICE. Okay, so if you're not even bothering with those, there's no point, because for regular usage, Ryzen actually performs better with 4 sticks. All right, that's number one. Number two, you're not crippling yourself to 64 gigs, okay, like you would with the Dark. And this Dark has only 2 DIMM slots, and it's like doesn't even have Wi-Fi 6E, I think, off the top of my head. And also, EVGA BIOS is good when it works, but if it's broken, it stays broken for a very long time, because their BIOS team is very small. And I've purchased a lot of EVGA boards, maybe 10 to 12 in my lifetime, and I've automated every single one. Quality control is not a thing, okay? So, yeah, I would definitely pick this over the Dark. I think for workstation, etc., you really don't need anything more than even like the regular Hero for X570. But if you want to spend the money, then get this. This is the board with power going to it. You can see you get the RGB logo here. Along the edges, like all the other high-end ASUS boards have been. You get the ROG here. This is the live dash. You can put whatever you want. This looks to be the same from the formula to me. They've used this OLED, small OLED, for quite a bit on Formula, Extreme, etc. It might be a little bigger than the one on the Formula, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I think we could have gotten for folks that don't know, for the HDTT lineup, like the X299 and the Alpha for TRX40, they have a screen over here, right? And that screen is more colorful, and you can display more things. I think for this price tag, just like with the Z590, it would have been nice to have that over here instead. And this thing brings up one more thing. Okay, so a lot of folks that buy this motherboard, you will water cool, because people who buy $800 motherboards tend to water cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring up a point. This really tall heatsink over here, okay, this is an M2 under here, I can tell for sure. This tall heatsink, if you have an active backplate on a 3090, it may be a problem. You're not gonna be able to fit an FE with active backplate in this slot for damn sure. So you're gonna have to vertical mount or use the bottom slot. Okay. Now for the Strix 3090s, I know it will fit. Okay, it's like 3 millimeters off, for like 3 millimeter gap before you hit the bottom of the backplate block. But for a shorter card, like one based off reference, I don't think that's gonna fit. And I mean, I haven't tested it because I don't have a reference based PCB GPU, but I can see how this would be a problem. So if you're buying an active backplate for a 3090, even though unless you're mining, you really shouldn't, take that into consideration. This is high, this can be in the way. And even for, if you have a really, there are GPUs that have a really high backplate like the Power Color Devil series for 6900, 6800. That backplate is really tall in terms of height off the GPU itself, and that is also that comes really close to this as well. So if you have a GPU with like, you know what? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is a 6900 XT Devil Ultimate. Okay, so if you look at the backplate here, it's pretty high up off the PCB. Okay, even more so on this end because it's like not even screwed down. Okay, I've looked at a couple of them and they're all the same. Now this height right here is very close to that already when I inserted it. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. If you have a really tall GPU backplate, this may also be a problem. Obviously, it's only gonna be for really high-end GPUs, but if you're buying this board, you're probably buying a high-end GPU. So keep that in mind. If it's something like this tall, that's gonna be an issue. Like, for example, here's the impact, okay? Now, this cannot fit into this slot. This part scratches. It does not fit, okay? Because the width here between where the I/O ends and the where the PCIe slot, it's just not gonna work. So you got to keep that in mind because of this, heatsink. That pretty much wraps it up. What I want to say about this board, I plan to put this in an X format. That's probably what the thumbnail is going to be. It's probably going to be my last build of the year. It's going to be pure blackout. If not this, then I'm going to finish that little mini dynamic that I'm working on. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and stay safe.